Bill O'Reilly here. Welcome to the No Spin News, Thursday, May 30th, 2024. Stand up for your country and remember this day. Very historical day, and not in a good way. So we're going to walk you through the Trump conviction, which may be overturned, all right, and how it happened, more than why it happened. I got to wait until the jurors start to talk before I can analyze what their point of view is. Now, to set this up in a fair way, because this is fair. What we're going to do tonight is fair. On the others, if you watch television, listen to the radio, whatever, you're not going to get fair. You're going to get partisan. That's what you get. This is not going to be that. All right. So Donald Trump convicted of 34 counts of falsifying business records. Low-level beef. Not Watergate, not Monica Lewinsky in the White House, not the Teapot Dome scandal, okay? Low-level beef. Did he do it? I don't know whether he did it or not. I mean, it's certainly possible, maybe probable, that they took the books in the Trump organization, paid off Stormy Daniels and gave the Inquirer guy some money or whatever. Absolutely possible. Did I see evidence beyond a reasonable doubt? No, but I wasn't in the courtroom as the 12 jurors were. Should this case have been brought? No, particularly not for a president and who's running for re-election, Donald Trump. Shouldn't have been brought. This is terrible for the country. I hope everybody understands that. There's nothing good about this. Nothing. And I'll get to that in a little while. So when I heard the verdict of 34 guilty counts on falsifying business records, I wasn't surprised because this case in Manhattan was presented in a way that was very constricted to the defense. And we have Brett Tallman going to tell us what mistakes the judge made, because that's important on appeal. And you know this is going to be appealed. And Trump's not going to be put in jail. None of that's going to happen. All right, he'll be able to carry on his campaign. Perhaps the most important thing is something that's not going to be reported tonight, except by us. There's an NPR poll out that asked Americans, whatever happens in the Trump trial, and it just came out today, this poll, will it influence your vote on Donald Trump? And the vast majority of Americans say no. And the ones that say yes, it was even. Some said, I'm less likely to vote for him, more likely. It was a total wash. And this is NPR. I believe that's true. So I think Trump's poll numbers will go down in the next few weeks. But once summer kicks in, as I analyzed this week, and people are paying a massive amount of money for food and restaurants and vacations and gas and everything else, this is going to be a distant memory come September. And there are no other trials that are going to come up before Election Day. All right. So let's begin with Donald Trump himself. Go.
This was a disgrace. This was a rigged trial by a conflicted judge who was corrupt. It's a rigged trial, a disgrace. They wouldn't give us a venue change. We were at 5% or 6% in this district, in this area. This was a rigged, disgraceful trial. The real verdict is going to be November 5th by the people. And they know what happened here, and everybody knows what happened here. You have a Soros-backed DA and the whole thing. We didn't do a thing wrong. I'm a very innocent man, and it's okay. I'm fighting for our country. I'm fighting for our Constitution. Our whole country is being rigged right now. This was done by the Biden administration in order to wound or hurt an opponent, a political opponent. And I think it's just a disgrace. And we'll keep fighting. We'll fight till the end, and we'll win, because our country's gone to hell. We don't have the same country anymore. We have a divided mess. We're a nation in decline, serious decline. Millions and millions of people pouring into our country right now from prisons and from mental institutions, terrorists, and they're taking over our country. We have a country that's in big trouble, but this was a rigged decision right from day one with a conflicted judge who should have never been allowed to try this case, never. And we will fight for our Constitution. This is long from over. Thank you very much.
Why should voters vote for a convicted felon?
All right, that was 90 seconds. That was shorter than I thought. I mean, Trump, usually is more loquacious than that. But what happens now is that Trump and his lawyers appeal. Now, remember, New York State is different than the city. So they're going up, and the appellate division probably won't overturn the verdict. But once they get into the highest court in New York, that's the court that overturned the Weinstein verdict, because they said the trial wasn't fair, which is exactly what the Trump lawyers are going to go for, just so you know the process. Now, I believe that Trump might be able to get this if he loses in New York State and all the courts into the federal system, but everybody's telling me I'm crazy to believe that. So I might be. I'm not a lawyer. But it looks to me like, you can get in under a few statutes here, but be that as a man, I don't want to be too much skepticism in our reporting here. Okay, so now the judge has to pronounce a sentence. And if it's draconian and it prevents Trump from campaigning, boom, it's going to go right to the Supreme Court. That's where it'll go. I don't think Mark Chan wants to do that. But I'm guessing here. So what I assume will be Trump will be released after Marchand pronounces whatever sentence he pronounces. Remember, these are low-level beefs. Okay. And then he's free on appeal. This is what usually happens 90% of the time. Unless you're a dangerous criminal and run around knifing people. And there in New York City, you'll be let out. But okay. So what should Americans think about this? Here's what I think about it, not as a journalist or historian. I'll get to that in a moment. I'm really disturbed about the level of hatred that is rising in America. So when you have more than 70 million people voting for Donald Trump in 2020, more than 70 million, not many of those people are going to be very happy with this. And they're going to start to blame. Okay? The scene in The Godfather where Don Corleone is sitting around a table with all the other mafioso, and he goes, if lightning should hit my youngest son, I'm going to hold some of the people in this room accountable. Okay? There's that vengeance in the air. It's in the air. This isn't Obama, Romney, Obama, McCain. This is not. I was in the middle of those campaigns. This is rank hatred on both sides. And that's going to grow. And that's bad for the country. So what Mark Chan did was he played the progressive Manhattan political game, made mistakes. So Brett Tallman, very fair man, you know him, we use him a lot here. He obviously followed this trial very, very closely. So I asked him earlier today, what were the key mistakes that the judge made that could reverse this whole thing on appeal? Roll tape. Let's bring in a guy who's much smarter than me on this, and I hate to admit that. A man who looks exactly like U.S. Grant. Okay, there he is, Brett Tallman, former U.S. Attorney for Utah, coming to us from Salt Lake City. You know, I think Grant and you guys are kind of simpatico with the beard and things like that. Very good.
And the horses, yeah.
So I want to know the biggest mistake Judge Marchand made in this trial, in your opinion, because the judge's mistakes are going to lead the appeal process, correct?
Yes, absolutely. You know, I would say in this order. First, he forgot one of the most important rules of evidence, Rule 403, which a judge is supposed to use to determine what comes into evidence and what doesn't. And it expressly says nothing unfairly prejudicial to the defendant or irrelevant to the defendant. The entire testimony of, most of the testimony of Stormy Daniels, most of the testimony of Cohen, would have been thrown out by, I would say, 99% of the judges under Rule 403. The other thing that
wait. Why would it have been thrown out by most judges when we're talking about what? What wasn't relevant?
So all of the details of the sexual encounter with Stormy Daniels, highly prejudicial, irrelevant to what the elements of the counts were that the government had to prove. They could have taken the high road on this, but I think they did want to take body shots to Trump and show him as an undesirable human being.
Right, and that hasn't been proven. That's still an alleged encounter, and the judge let it in, and it didn't really go to the crimes that were charged. Okay, and then next, what else did Marchand do that could lead to a successful appeal for Trump?
There's a rule that judges follow to err on the side of allowing the defendant to put on the case that they want to put on. So what that means is they give them far more latitude when it comes to cross-examination. They give them far more latitude to presentation of their own witnesses and the evidence they want to bring in. You don't see typically, Bill, a judge that is sustaining objections before the question is even asked on an examination of the defense's witnesses like they did. You don't see them limiting the witnesses like the judge did. That was a very big issue, that they wouldn't let in an individual that's very familiar with federal election law to indicate whether or not the statute would cover even the allegations that are being raised in this case. And that should have been allowed, and most judges would have, because they don't want to be reversed on appeals.
So there you go. No emotion in that analysis is the way we want it. Sentencing, by the way, is July 11th. Okay, so it's a good distance away. It shows you that there's no urgency on the part of the New York City authorities. I mean, this isn't a heinous crime. That's what it shows you. Sentencing could be tomorrow. Now, in the meantime, what's going to happen, Marchand's going to be calling every judge in the state going, what could I, like that. It's CYA for him. Cover your you-know-what. Now, what should happen in this country? What is the best thing for the United States of America? I wrote a message of the day on BillO'Reilly.com, and I really hope you go every morning and read it. It's not complicated. Tomorrow, President Joe Biden, who will return to the White House for the first time this week to see the Kansas City Chiefs, okay, before he sees the football team, Super Bowl winners, he should pardon Donald Trump of any and all crimes, okay? And then the next day, Saturday, he can pardon Hunter Biden. And he can say in both cases, enough. All of this is not helping our republic. This elevates Biden, okay? It puts him into Gerald Ford category. You remember, Ford pardoned Nixon for Watergate crimes, which were 1,000 times worse than falsifying business records. And so were the Clinton situation on Lewinsky. It was much worse. The breach, that whole thing, the lying to the American people about it, much worse than falsifying business records. And I'm sure you would agree. If you don't, Bill at BillO'Reilly.com, let me know. But come on. And when you read Confronting the Presidents and see what our past chief executives did, this Trump thing is minuscule. So Biden should say, enough. If Biden did that, he might very well win in November. Because people would go, whoa, he's putting the country above himself. Yes, he's got a motive with Hunter, okay, but we all know what Hunter did. we all know there's no subterfuge about Hunter Biden in the gun charge and the other stuff. Okay, now the money thing, that gets a little more dicey there. But he's not charged there yet. He's charged with income tax evasion. So Biden will not do my suggestion, which, by the way, I haven't seen anywhere else in this country. I'm bragging, but that's why you watch and listen to me. Well, he should issue a blanket pardon on Donald Trump tomorrow and a selected pardon on Hunter Biden on Saturday. Then that takes away a lot of the animus from the debate in June. Because Biden's going to march in there having done Trump a favor. Whether Trump knows it or not, I don't know. And if Trump goes at Biden, you can just make a joke out of it. Say, so, well, you know, try to do something nice. You know how you do it. But Biden will never do it. And the reason is he doesn't put his country first. He doesn't. He puts himself first. You can make that argument about Donald Trump too. You can make it. But can you imagine if tomorrow Biden said, enough of this, I don't want Americans hating each other? Because there may be violence. Could be. I know when Robert De Niro went out there, De Niro wanted to punch somebody's lights out, and vice versa. And now, with this Trump conviction, the MAGA people, the most of the 70 million people who voted for Trump, they believe this whole thing is BS, just as Trump said. They firmly believe it. I believe it, and I'm not a MAGA person. This case would have not been brought in 45 out of the 50 states. Wouldn't have happened. The feds declined. They could have brought it. This is such a miscarriage of justice, but we don't have justice anymore in America, particularly in New York State, because I live here. I know. There is no justice in this state. None. Contracts don't matter. Ideology rules the bench. It's who you are, not what you did. It's crazy. Poor people have no chance. If you're attacked by somebody and accused by somebody, you better have hundreds of thousands of dollars to defend yourself. Because if you don't, you're not even going to get a lawyer. That's how it is in New York State. So we got a lot of problems in this country. And this thing in Manhattan, and just for a second, think about Putin, Xi, the mullahs in Tehran, Hamas. Think about them all. They're just laughing at us. Falsifying business records? Putin's stolen hundreds of billions of dollars. He's the richest man in the world. Xi will have you executed in 20 minutes. Falsifying business records? So some shakedown doesn't get public before the election? Is that what you're telling me? They're laughing at us. So I know Biden's not going to do it. If he did, I would gain a measure of respect for him, even though he's the second worst president in history, next to James Buchanan. I would, if he did it, just like Ford. Ford put his whole presidential campaign on the line by pardoning Nixon, but it was the right thing to do to stop the madness that emanated out of the Vietnam War and Watergate. And Ford was a hero for doing it, as you'll see in confronting the presidents. But Biden, I'd be shocked. Shocked. Now, he better be careful, Biden, because he's got to make a statement about this, or says he's going to, using the White House as a backdrop. You got to be careful. Okay, because the appeal process is still in place. This could be reversed totally on appeal, and Trump would be then not guilty. Keep that in mind. Biden got to be careful. But Biden, it's a whole different world there. Again, I covered Romney and Obama. I covered McCain and Obama. It wasn't this kind of hatred. On both parts, they hate each other. I'd be surprised if there's a handshake on that debate coming up in June. Probably will be, but boy, they loathe each other. Anyway, summing up, the verdict is a verdict. Nothing anybody can do about it. Trump lawyers will appeal, sentencing July 11th. Marchant probably not going to do anything outrageous in the sentencing because that would make the appeal easier and give the Trump lawyers an avenue to go to the feds if he does something, obviously vindictive to keep Donald Trump off the campaign trail. Because that is basically interfering in our electoral process, our democratic process. I want to hear from you. I'm going to be on News Nation tonight with Cuomo. Okay, you can watch that. But I want to hear from you. Bill@BillO'Reilly.com. Bill@BillO'Reilly.com. Name and town so I know you're a real person. I think that we just delivered the best analysis that you will hear. But if somebody's better, you let me know. I'll check it out. All right? Everything is expensive these days, you know that. The government is printing trillions of dollars and consumer prices higher than ever. If the government continues its printing and spending, the dollar could continue its free fall and lose its coveted role as the world reserve currency. Let's hope that doesn't happen. But there are a few things you can do right now. American Hartford Gold can show you how to protect your money, your retirement, your hard-earned savings against inflation by helping you diversify a portion of your portfolio into physical gold and silver. Start with a short phone call, and they can have physical gold and silver delivered right to your door or put inside your 401k or IRA. So please call or text them right now. Tell them Bill O'Reilly sent you. Call 877-444-GOLD, 877-444-GOLD, or text GOLD to 65532. Again, that's 877-444-GOLD, or text GOLD to 65532. Okay, let's go to the mail. This is from Joseph Molinelli, Quogue, Long Island, East End. Mr. Reilly, based on your comments, my daughter went to the dermatologist. They found a malignant melanoma. They got it out. You saved her life, which makes you Luca Brasi to my family. Okay. I'm your consigliere here, but I'm so happy that your daughter followed my advice. If you have anything on you that you haven't seen before, dermatologists, okay? Don't mess around with this. I'm very pleased about that. Madeline Doobie, Quebec, Canada. Love Quebec. Quebec City, great place to go. Hey, Bill, do you think the gag orders on Trump for his trials actually helping his campaign because it lets people form their own ideas about the trial and not be influenced by his comments and style? I don't know if it helps his campaign. I mean, I think most Americans, and I think this is different than Canada, most Americans know this is not fair, even if they hate Trump. Francis Coker, Forest Hill, Maryland, very much enjoy listening to you, O'Reilly, as you explain issues in a way the average citizen can understand without a slant. I have a question. What happened to all the investigations into President Biden's financial dealings? Well, the two committees in the House didn't come up with a link between Hunter Biden and Jim Biden's finances and Joe Biden's. They don't have it. That's it. Now, maybe they'll find it down the road. But remember, the FBI is not in this. No Justice Department investigation. It's the congressional committees that are doing it. George Albert, Williamsville, New York. Is Robert De Niro being sent by the Democratic Party to the courthouse? Is that tampering? No, because the jury's inside. De Niro's exercising freedom of speech outside. He can say what he wants. No jury tampering there. Now, if he went in the courtroom, different story. Robert Gray, Macon, Georgia. Joe Biden may be the number 2 worst president at this time, but we don't know the final impact of his disastrous presidency. That is true. But I can't imagine him. Where do you read about James Buchanan, the guy before Lincoln? Oh, I can't imagine. All right, the best gift for dad and granddad this Father's Day is a premium and a concierge membership on BillO'Reilly.com because you get a book free or the Not Woke mug free. 2 gifts, a year membership, and believe me, is worth it. Just the membership's worth it. And then you give them the Not Woke mug or any killing book or the new book that's coming in September. I mean, that is the best gift. If your dad isn't like that or your granddad, you need to have a talk with him. And then we have The United States of Trump, my book. If you want to know about Trump, you read that. Combined with Not Woke mug, $35. Come on. Then we have the leather-bound edition I showed you yesterday. It was in my hand, Killing Patton. This is more expensive, but boy, is it worth it. What a legacy book this is. All right, so we got a lot of stuff for Dad on BillO'Reilly.com in the store. We hope you take advantage because things are moving fast. We don't want next Thursday, a week from today, me telling you, well, the Not Woke mugs are sold out. Or, get them now. Coming up fast. Word of the day, not be pawky. P-A-W-K-Y. Pawky. So yesterday on the No Spin News, we did a thing on Ken Burns blasting Trump in a commencement address, and I said we're going to invite him on a program. We did, and I'll tell you what happened in a final thought in a moment. Sorting through your expense tracking, estimated payments, and all those tax deductions can be overwhelming. It might even lead to a failure to file and failure to pay penalties that pile up on your tax debt. The attorneys at Tax Network USA have been lifesavers for many. Their team has successfully saved clients over $1 billion in tax debt. Whether you're in the hole for $10,000 or starting at a $10 million debt, they are ready to help you. The expert attorneys and tax professionals at Tax Network USA are equipped to secure the best settlement for you and help you resolve all tax cases. So please go to tnusa.com/bill, or you can call 1-800-245-6000. These tax debt relief programs are expected to change, so get to them now. Visit tnusa.com/bill or call 800-245-6000. Tell them O'Reilly sent you. If you suffer from daily pain, I'd like you to listen carefully to this message. A safe and effective way to ease pain is taking the world by storm. Introducing 100% drug-free Conalidine. Conalidine has already helped more than 100,000 Americans beat pain. It is so effective, it was named the official pain reliever of the UFC. And those guys know about pain. Non-addictive, Conalidine optimizes your body's natural painkillers, bringing full body relief in 7 days or less, without a single documented side effect. Conalidine is the future of pain relief. Now the best part. When you go to trycono.com/bill, you can get it for less than $1 a day. You really are just days away from being pain-free. Again, just go to trycono.com/bill and see for yourself. Okay, so yesterday we did a story about the documentarian Ken Burns. I know him personally. I think he's a very talented man, giving a commencement address at the left-wing college Brandeis in Boston. Go. All right, I'd like to debate Ken Burns. We're going to call him and try to get him on next week. He won't come on because he knows this is gibberish. Okay, so that's what I said. And his address to the college students was, look, Trump is so bad, it's terrible, you can't even consider him. There's no comparison. Biden's the greatest guy. Okay, and that's fine. Brandeis knew what they were getting when they invited Ken Burns. But I'd like to, as two historians, I'd like to kick it around with Ken. Okay, or you said this, and what's your backup for it? And I see it differently, and here's my backup. Wouldn't that be good? Well, there's no way Ken Burns, at age 80, okay, is going to come up against me. He's just not going to do it. But not only Ken Burns, I'm picking on him, and he deserves it, okay? But none of these people, not De Niro, George Clooney, or none of these people. But when you say, let's kick it around, let's back it up, let's see what you got. No way. Not doing it. Because we live in a society that is largely unaccountable for what it says and does. This is different than what it used to be. Okay? When I was growing up in Levittown, if you said something bad about somebody, that was a big deal. And you had to back it up, or there were fisticuffs. Okay, it was Andrew Jackson time. All right? But there was always, oh, how do you know that? What are you saying that for? Give me the proof. Okay, there was that, and it was taken seriously. Now it's not. You can say anything you want, and then you walk away. And no, I submit to you that everything I say, all right, is number one, true. I mean, some of my predictions, aren't 100%, but most of them are. But if somebody says, hey, O'Reilly, come on and debate it, look at Chris Cuomo. All right? I'm standing by for News Nation, by the way, on the Trump verdict. As soon as it comes in, I'll be on News Nation. And I'm probably with Cuomo, could be somebody else. But anybody invites me on, and unless I think that they're ridiculous, dishonest people, and I'm certainly not that, and Burns knows that. Okay? I'll go on. I'll make my case. Come on. This is why I believe what I want to believe. Okay? I just don't do it. But Burns wouldn't come on. We tried. And they weren't rude when they turned us down. They said, oh, we appreciate the invite, but unfortunately Ken's schedule is full at this point. Oh, sure. Yeah, everybody wants Ken. I know. Okay. We are on, as I said, trial watch. Anything happens, BillO'Reilly.com is your place. I'm up all night on this. It's not going to happen during the night, but we're working it. Okay? Thank you for watching and listening to the No Spin News. See you tomorrow. Thank you for watching the No Spin News. To watch the full episode anytime on BillO'Reilly.com, please sign up to become a premium or concierge member. Visit BillO'Reilly.com to sign up and start watching today.